Welcome to another segment from Hiru News. We're talking with ICTA today about their development work and what is in store for the country. And today we have with us Shiranti Balapattamandi, who is the ICTA Director, Technology, Industry and Development. And she will be sharing the opportunities that ICTA brings to all the IT entrepreneurs. Shiranti, if you can introduce us to ICTA a little bit and tell us about ICTA.
The ICTA is the apex government institution mandated by the government to look at the government policies and interventions that are required in the ICT sphere. It's a wholly owned government institution and gives national guidance for priorities.
So tell us a little bit about the entire QR code development, because people are interested. What was the ICTA role?
Right. So initially when the requirement came in from the Ministry of Energy to kind of reduce the queues, ICTA took the initiative to look at a method on how we can include IT into this reduction, and that's where ICTA came into the forefront.
Now, how is the structure of ICT? Is it passed in Parliament? Is it by an act? How does it, what's the structure?
It's mandated by an act. It's called the Information and Technology Act number 27 of 2003, and it has been revised to the 2008 Act, the number 33, which gives the ICTA the sole authority to perform in government related IT projects.
When I have been speaking to various entrepreneurs, especially those who are engaged in online business, various software development, games, apps and all that, you sort of feel that there is a lot of scope in terms of bringing in foreign currency. Is ICTA open to that? What does ICTA do in terms of the entire industry?
Right. So one of the main goals of our digital economy vertical is to contribute $3 billion to the economy by 2024. Currently, we are contributing about 1.8 billion. Of course, ICTA can't do this alone. It has to be done hand in hand with the industry. So we are working with the industry to bring those dollars into the country. And as you rightly mentioned, the domestic market is very constricted. So most SMEs plus even large scale companies are looking at going overseas. That's where ICTA comes in.
So if I can unpack this a little further, what will ICTA give either a budding entrepreneur or an ongoing entrepreneur who is into various developing software, apps and various things? Or what can ICTA give, or what do they gain from ICTA?
When they reach out to ICTA, what we would do is we would connect with the relevant embassies in those countries. Being a government institution, we have direct access to these embassies, and they are very coordinative in terms of providing us with information. If you look at getting into any country, I think you need to look at the market entry strategies. You need to look at what the jurisdiction is in those countries. So this type of information provision plus also providing them with contacts through the embassies for them to kind of connect is what we get involved in.
So what you're saying is that international market access is possible for these entrepreneurs through ICTA?
That's correct. At the moment, we have been working on a couple of countries as well as with a certain set of companies. I must say about 7 companies have already been successful in reaching out to those markets. We've got contacts. It's not like a short-term thing. It's a long-term materialization of dollars coming in, but this is an initial step which the ICTA is kind of put in the foundation of.
So you would create the linkage for these entrepreneurs through the embassies, through the ambassadors and through whatever that diplomatic channel and your contacts. What is the response of the ambassadors and the diplomatics? Are they open to it? Have they already been approached?
They have been approached, they are open to it, and to add on to that, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have been very instigative in promoting the ICT sector in these missions, because the ICT sector is a thrust sector. If you take it, you don't get a lot of importation requirements, but there is more exportation that happens and the contribution comes in.
Is the current education stream, the streams offered even through, let's say, the universities and our own A-levels and O-level streams, sufficient to meet this market demand? Is it geared to actually, you mentioned the $3 billion figure, which is a magical figure, with IMF coming with about 2.9 billion. So it's very intriguing. What is your take on that, about the local education industry?
In terms of the skills, there's a huge gap. About 9,000 students come from the ICT industry in terms of the government universities, and the requirement is about 26,000. So there is a big gap. What we are doing is that we have several programs to kind of match these requirements, not only for the graduates, but we are looking at non-graduates. We are looking at the secondary education. We are looking at reforming certain even curricula with regards to promoting skills in the ICT industry.
People were asking what careers to take. We are already hearing from Shriranti Palabatapendi, the ICT Director, Technology, Industry and Development, that there is a shortage of about 17,000 in the workforce for the IT industry, an industry that is targeting 3 billion in 2024. Let me ask you, how does this 3 billion come? Is it through all these IT projects, or is it directly from ICT, or how does it work?
So this definitely comes in only via exports and foreign direct investment to the IT industry.
Are you also looking at overseas players who would come and set up maybe IT parks and various things, or are you only looking at the Sri Lankans who would actually export their maybe apps and games and whatever?
No, we are looking at investment as well. Right now, with this current situation, the investment numbers have been less, but we work very closely with the BOI to look at 3 areas. One area that we have been looking at is the tax concessions provided for the IT industry. Another area that we have been looking at is the application for the IT industry, to slightly revise it from the usual applications that are there at the BOI. Plus, thirdly, we've also been trying to ease doing business in Sri Lanka, setting up to be limited to about 4 to 6 weeks and to be operational for those companies who are, and MNCs who are coming from overseas.
In the recent import restrictions, originally there was about 360, but in the temporary restrictions, there's about 305 items that are restricted. And of course, there is a complaint among society that there are various IT related, IT development items that are restricted. How does ICTA look at this entire development of this import restriction?
We are very conscious of this. We work very closely with the industry, and they have actually come back to us referring to this. What we are trying to do is working with the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the Financial Ministry, as well as the customs, to try and minimize the effect that it causes, and also to see whether they can be kind of avoided from brought into the country, to see the possibility of bringing those items to the country.
So in something like these import restrictions, would you also be advising the government? Does government look at the advice of ICTA in enforcing some of these restrictions?
That's correct. So as I mentioned, we'll work with these 3 institutions, specifically government institutions. I think ICTA stands at that point where we work with the government institutions to somehow try and kind of reduce the impact created by these import restrictions, and to also either take away the restrictions on at least some of the products.
If there is an entrepreneur, how do they connect with ICTA, or what is the process? Is there anything, I mean, if you could explain to us, to all our viewers, how do they connect with you?
Right, it's just a call, or you could always reach out to us through any of our social media platforms as well as our website. We actually handhold these investors, including the exporters, to get to that next level. If it is in terms of the exporters, to go to the overseas markets, plus if it is the investors, up to setting up and making sure the operations are run smoothly, we handhold them. So through any of these methods, they could contact us.
So here is a government agency mandated for the digital industry, who is actually looking at hand-holding our own entrepreneurs as they go for a 3 billion target for 2024. You could join in, you can visit their website, look at the social media accounts, and you could connect with them. Remember what Shriranti told us, they'll be hand-holding you as you walk through this journey, and also there'll be the ambassadors, the diplomatic channels in the other countries who will also walk hand in hand in supporting and promote. What is your message to the local entrepreneurs, maybe the budding entrepreneurs, or maybe the ones who just love sitting behind a computer doing stuff, and that's their dream. Their dream is making an app, maybe for a hospital, maybe for customer service, maybe accounts, or maybe even games. What is your message to them?
The first message is the potential is humongous. There is enough opportunity both domestically as well as internationally for the ICT sector, and we are there to promote that. We are there to kind of give you that bridge, or connect you through that bridge to both the overseas market as well as develop the industry as a whole. So we want you to come and join with us to help achieve that $3 billion foreign exchange revenue to the country, which ultimately will contribute to reducing the current financial crisis.
If, let's say, there's a company that's probably having maybe $1 million turnover and developing, would somebody like that benefit from ICT? Would you want some of them also to reach out to you?
Of course, we look at the SMEs as well as the large scale. The industry consists of a whole ecosystem.
Okay.
So we look at the whole ecosystem, and we are here to support and assist that ecosystem to achieve those goals that we have promised the government.
So if you want to develop, you are neither too small nor too big. You can join with ICTA. This is Shiranti Balapattabandi, who has joined us and shared some very, very valuable insights, and also some opportunities. As she said, the potential is humongous. I'm grabbing your own words. The potential is humongous, and the opportunity is there, especially at a time when the country needs the foreign exchange, when the country needs viable, sustainable jobs for the young. And here is an opportunity. If you are already in the industry, you can further expand. But if you are thinking of joining the industry, click onto the website, join with ICTA, and they would handhold you as you go through this journey. And let's all get together and bring that $3 billion target by 2024. Thank you. I'm Lalinda Vikramaratne signing off for Hiru News.
උණුසුම් වීඩියෝ එසැනින් බලාගන්න Hiru News YouTube channel සබස්ක්‍රයිබ් කරන්න.